Alright, y'all, so the other day I made a video talking about where is Heroes, and it seems a few days later we actually got confirmation. Now we have some actual pretty big potential news for Dragon Ball Heroes that we could even talk about before this live stream. But if you guys take a look here, we see on November 4th, 11 a.m. JST, there is going to be the Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I think that's just a YouTube video that's going to be dropping. And this will give us all the information we need about Dragon Ball Heroes. I don't want to click that. I'm going to click the English translation for y'all here. But again, right here, the 3rd in my time zone at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is in 4 days from now on Sunday, we will be getting a YouTube video dropping the latest information about the Super Dragon Ball Heroes campaign. So that's going to be pretty good. It's also going to be on the official Twitter account, it seems. So pretty cool. We're getting Heroes Celebration details by then. Now, a lot of you guys may be thinking, well, this is kind of early. And that is true. Hero Celebration usually does drop in the 3rd week of November. But there's a very strong sign that the Hero Celebration might actually drop on the 11th, right? And there's, I think, 2 big things we could look at. If you take a look here in the JP and global news for the Lord Slug celebration, we could see that the Lord Slug sales end on the 10th in Japan, and we see that they also state they plan to sell other Super Dragon Stones items after the above period ends. But also on the global version as well, there is the confirmation that the sales are ending. The global doesn't have the Lord Slug celebration details, but the where is the, is it, do they have the sales in here? And global, there is some announcement about the sales also ending on the 11th. I think that was a tweet that was made. I can't find it specifically. I know Rick talks about it, I think. We'll get into that, but we know the sales are ending then on both global and JP. At first, we're thinking maybe Jiren drops, on November 11th, 11/11 would be very funny. And that's still a non-zero chance. But the Super Dragon Ball Heroes mode in Super Divers opens on November 11th, which is the day that the sales ends on JP and Global. So, it would make sense if the Dokkan collab is on the same day this year instead of the usual time slot. And if you think about it, it makes sense on why they're announcing the Heroes characters at this time 1 week ahead rather than like 3 weeks ahead. 1 exact week before the Heroes characters drops in Divers will be when they can drop a Dokkan. I think that makes so much sense. It matches up really well. And if we take a look here, Rick keeps bringing this up. He says they told us that they were getting a new skill this month. I don't think they would put that in the November slot if they were going to add it in an app update without implementing it on a character until the 10th anniversary. Now we see here again in November there's going to be new skill added, new character details, etc. Keep in mind, Slug is part of October. Slug is an October release. He's the Halloween release. He does not count as a November release. As you see here, Super Dragon Ball Heroes campaign, that is a November release. I think that's the big thing for November. Technically, it shows us going throughout the entirety of November too. So, I mean, if it's the 11th, man, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, you can see they position it in a certain way where, like this is going to be right at the end of November. That also means that we're going to be getting constant data downloads as expected. But I think that if there's going to be a new skill added in November, it's going to be related to Heroes. Lord Slug and the characters with them don't have a new skill. Like, they just are generic domains, unless they mean the intro domain with Slug. But again, this is November, not October. This doesn't appear to be a normal dead December, in my opinion. I think we could see a new mechanic for either Super Dragon Ball Heroes itself or a surprise in the usual slot. And I do agree, man. I mean, based on this information, with it dropping on the 11th in Divers, I think we're going to see some pretty big stuff for Dragon Ball Heroes. Now, I also think that there's a really strong possibility that Heroes actually gets an LR now. What I was potentially thinking is that we're going to get a filler banner on JP and then Global gets Jiren on the 11th. But if Heroes drops on the 11th, keep in mind, they announced Gogeta and the Gammas are returning soon and some gotcha scheduled after the Worldwide Celebration. Now, in Global, this wasn't a thing, but in JP, the Worldwide Celebration banners are where Gogeta Blue and the Gammas from the 9th anniversary did end up returning, which is, it's cool that they ended up coming back. But in the news, we knew that there's going to be a banner. Now, this could be in relation to the December Carnival LR, but the December Carnival banner should be when the Tanabata Jiren returns on JAP. And again, this is a JP announcement, so it could be like, oh, you can't say this is for Global because this is for JP. Maybe Global, the Gammas and Gogeta will return there, or on both versions, they come back on the Heroes banner if there's a Heroes LR. And that's something that people have been asking for a very, very, very long time. The Dragon Ball Heroes LR would be super exciting. Now, we also know there's the possibility that this is the last Dragon Ball Heroes celebration, because, again, Heroes is being discontinued, and there's going to be a mode in Divers where you could use the old Heroes card. So I'm thinking, if it's a Carnival LR banner, they could put the Heroes characters after the celebration into the general pool. They did that with the Xenoverse characters. They did that with the Fighters 21 characters. They ended up being in the general pool after that. I think Heroes obviously had some more strict things with it, but Heroes is not going to be an actual, it's not going to be its own thing anymore. It's in Divers, and there's not going to be new Heroes cards releasing. So it might not be as bad. I'm not gonna say that's confirmation, and there's nothing pointing to it, but I think that could be a possibility where Carnival banner, let's say Carnival LR Gogeta Blue Evolution, or the Spirit Bomb Tree Goku, whatever it's called, the Universe Tree Blue Goku, that's an LR. We have the Gammas and Blue Gogeta return. I mean, Blue Gogeta and Evolution Blue Gogeta together, not a bad idea, right? And on top of that, we'll have the Nova Heroes TURs featured. I'm thinking if there's going to be GFSSR still, they could make it for specific banners, right? Those specific TUR characters, because I don't think there'd be a GFSSR for the new LR if that's going to be a thing. They can make it for a specific character. In fact, let me bring it up real quick. Someone sent this to me, but this was the global Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, the Rage Vegeta with the counters and that Int Beerus that came out. This was, I think, the only banner that did this, but essentially, you're guaranteed to get either the Vegeta or the Beerus by summoning on the multi-summons. So it could be a thing of, oh, only the Heroes characters, or at least the Hero TURs, you can get guaranteed from doing a multi-summon at the end of the multi. But the LR you'll have to pull. Now we know Heroes is 7% featured rate, so it won't be as bad. I mean, that could be really good. Having the Carnival LRs there, plus a new Carnival Heroes LR. And then again, if they're all put in the general pool later, it won't be that big of a deal. And, that Heroes LR could return whenever in the future, really. We don't know when. Again, we see that Andrew 21 got her own Dokkan Fest right after the Fighters collab. She ended up getting her own Dokkan Fest in the future. So I could see Heroes getting random Dokkan Fest sometimes, and then those Heroes characters could return. Maybe some random LR, then the Heroes characters returns, right? Who knows what they're gonna do? But I don't think Heroes is gonna be as consistent in the future. So this could be a way for them to make it so that, it's not like, oh, Heroes after this year is gone forever. You can never get the Heroes characters again. That would be best case scenario. We'll see how they're able to handle it, though. I'm sure, if it was their choice, they would be able to do Heroes Dokkan Fest way more commonly. Make up their animations if they can and things like that, or even kind of skin quote unquote animations onto other characters. Imagine Blue Evolution Gogeta. He just has the movie, I think it's movie 11 is Fusion Reborn, whatever it is. That's the Fusion Reborn animations side by side. That's not impossible. Now there's also this idea that Ziad brought up right before I started recording. He says Hero on the 11th, and then a Heroes Part 2 with an LR on the 2nd. I assume he means the 22nd. Well, being fair, I think the reason why he says that is because there's the Divine Dragon Carnival right here in December. I don't think that's going to be really possible, because that's also an extremely long time frame. That's 3 weeks, essentially. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think if it's going to be Heroes, it'll be there, and this is the Divine Dragon Carnival. This would be like a normal carnival banner. Divine Dragon Carnival is double rates, right? That's usually on like the 12th of December. Because the reason why this is named in December is because the Dokkan Fest usually drops like November 30th, like right at the end of November. Same thing with like the Halloween Dokkan Fest, like that usually doesn't. Many times the Dokkan Fest doesn't drop like on, I don't know, December 5th or something. So that's the general time frame of what to expect. And I kind of think Heroes could be, again, really big this year. But a lot of this is me tying things together. I could be completely wrong. I think that this is definitely the strongest point. Even if there's no LR, seeing Heroes of the 11th makes this, because, dude, I'm telling you, this Slug Celebration is really dry. And, like, honestly, like, pretty much from the 11th all the way to like the 22nd would have been nothing. Basically, we would get a data download here, like some free to play unit, or like some missions would come out at best. Maybe a super easy A, like easy A here, super easy A there. But like in previous years, like post celebration in the like first week of October all the way to the end, or not, actually it wouldn't be, it would be here, like from here all the way to here, this 2-week span would have been disastrous. So I'm glad we're getting Heroes on the 11th. Hopefully we'll see, though. We'll have the, of course, Heroes live stream on the 3rd or the 4th, 3rd, depending on your time zone. I'm ending the video here. Thanks y'all for watching, of course, but I'll catch you guys next time, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace out.